Don't do it for anyone else. Don't live your life for anyone else. No one speaks to you during the journey. It's for celebration after, so they don't really care, and that's the people you need to part ways with because they're not your friends. Like if you don't take that risk and if you keep putting stuff off and not doing it, you're just going to live in regret. You're never going to get 100% out of what you're doing unless you really want it. And to go in, you know, half-hearted, you're just putting yourself through pain when it's unnecessary. Do something you love, but just know if you love something, you're going to hate it as well, because you're going to have to grind through the time when you really don't want to do it. Because no one's looking, no one's behind you making sure you do it. But obviously in a fight, you're the one in the ring on your own. You've got your corner, but they're not physically doing it. The goal is to get to one world title. That is like a dream come true. My name's Amberkitchen. I come from Penzance, Cornwall, United Kingdom. So I'm a professional Muay Thai fighter. I fight for one championship. I've been a professional fighter now for about 5 years. So everyone's surprised that I'm a Thai fighter because, you know, I like to dress girly. When I go out, I'm quite quiet, and you know, people have this image of a fighter as in, you know, maybe loud, arrogant, you know, aggressive, and you know, I don't come across as that at all. So I think people get really surprised. Obviously, when I'm in the ring, I can flip it, and you know, there is that fighter side of me. But outside, I'm just like a normal 24-year-old girl. Penzance is like the last stop on the train for the UK, so it's really in the sticks. Got to travel like 2 hours to the big city. My dad started a gym over 20 years ago. He used to do like a boxing gym, then he kind of went to Thailand, started off doing Thai gyms, and then he met my mum. So my mum was never into Thai boxing. She had me and my sister, we're twins, and to get rid of the baby weight, she then started training. So that's how she kind of got involved, and as my parents, it's such a big influence on my life growing up then, because they was in the gym every day, every morning, every evening. So, you know, after school I'd just get dragged along, and that was just, you know, I never knew anything different. That was just how I grew up. So that's why it kind of was such a big influence. But it was hard down in Cornwall because you have to travel everywhere to fight, and you get forgotten about a little bit. My dad used to just jump us in the car and say, right, that's it, have a day off school, we're going up to fight. Growing up, me and my sister used to, like, since we was 3, there's videos of us sparring together. Growing up, we started fighting. We both had our first fight when we was 9 years old. We used to do a lot of tournament fighting for the UK, and because we was the same weight, we always used to end up in the finals together. So that was really hard because obviously one's got to go home a loser. But we used to flip a coin, and I used to win, so it would be all right. But she kind of stopped. We both stopped fighting when we was about 13. So kind of my mum and dad kind of parted ways, and we just thought we'll just be a normal 13-year-olds and hang out with our mates and whatever. So it got to about 14, and I thought, I'm fed up of this. I'm getting big. I'm not doing anything in the evenings. I'm hanging out with the wrong people. So I thought, right, I'm gonna just go back in just for weight loss. And then obviously my dad's my coach, and he's like, right, she's back in. Let's get her a fight. When I started again after my break, I had 3 or 4 losses really bad, like to the point I didn't get stopped, but in my own head I was like, I don't want to do this, and I just give up, which that's not what fighting's all about. Deep down I didn't want it. I wasn't training very much. Like I said, I kind of went in the gym, and because I'm like the coach's daughter, everyone was like, oh, when's your next fight, or when are you going to do it? And I was doing it for other people and not myself, which is the worst mistake that a fighter could do. You've got to be 100% in it. So I had 4 bad fights, and afterwards my dad just looked at me and said, like, you're going to get hurt. Are you going to do this properly or not? Because I'm not going to train you if you're going to do it like you've been doing it. So that was the turning point for me. It really clicked in my head, like I am hurting other people by just going with it and dragging myself through it. So this opportunity come up of fighting on Infusion.
From England, amberkitchen!
Yeah, well, so making her way to the ring is Amber Kitchen, the daughter of my colleague right next to me, JK Julie Kitchen. 18 years of age, Amber trains at the toughglovesgym in Cornwall. Penzance to be exact. She's had 18 fights, 13 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw. She's beaten Bethany Barrett from Ireland. And yeah, I'll say, and I have to be honest, it's not going to be easy for my colleague here, but there you go now. She wants to do it, JK.
Yeah, you know, I'm proud of her. Whatever happens tonight, win, lose, draw, you know, I'm just totally proud of her.
Indeed.
You know, she hasn't had that many fights as adults.
It was against a girl who had like 30 fights. I'd had my junior record, but I'd only had like 4 losses. And I just thought, you know what, this will be it. This will be my last one. If I don't do this, I'm going to quit.
Good head kick, just needs to follow it up. Good right hand from Worms. So if it goes through, good teep to the face.
And if I do, amazing. And I trained so hard for that fight. I was training before like 3 times a week, which I can't believe I was trying to get away with training 3 times a week. And I stepped up to training 3 times a day. Went to, it was in Holland, so my first fight away. And she just didn't come out for the second round. So that was my like, right, that's it, I could do it. And then I just had a winning streak, I had the confidence back. I knew, because I was training so hard, I knew I'd put in what I hadn't done before, and that's what was in my head walking out. And just thinking, even if I lose now, I know that I've pushed myself to my limits. And you know, if you lose and you've done your best, then what more can you ask for? You know, after a couple of losses, you do get down on yourself and you do lose confidence, but you know, it's like anyone in the gym. They can go in every day, or they can kind of skive on their diet, or they can skive on their runs and say to their coach, oh yeah, I've done it. But deep down in your head, you're the one walking out, you're the one getting hit. You know that you haven't done it like you've said you've done it. And that will be in your mind, and you won't perform as well. So like, to me, doing everything by the book and just getting in and getting it done was really important, because I doubt myself already. So if I had any part of my training camp which I missed or I skived, then I know in my head that would be like between rounds, oh shit, I should have done that run, I should have done this. So you know, it's like a dominoes effect. If you don't do it in the training, you're going to feel it in the fight. So for the reason I started coming to Badcompany, it's hard having my dad as my coach, because sometimes it's, you know, for father and daughter thing, you clash. You know, why don't you go and try other gyms in the UK? You can learn so much. And we started writing the list, and Badcompany was on top of my list. I came here, and just for the first session, I was like, scrap the list, I'm staying. This is my new gym, you know, the best in the world here, and I'm training with them, and it's like, this is amazing. Richard, any fight I've got, he's been through it all. He's had so much experience, so he's like, yep, you could do this fight. Always been nervous fighting. I struggle really bad with panic attacks, and behind the scenes it's awful. Walking out, I almost have to get pushed out. Last fight, I was just with Richard, and we was like, yeah, let's do it. So now I know this is where I need to be. I used to struggle a lot down in Cornwall. There wasn't anyone to really spar with. There wasn't, you know, my dad was in sometimes holding pads, but that was it. Then it was just me. So it's hard to get motivated on the bag or go running, because no one's looking, no one's behind you making sure you do it. But obviously in a fight, you're the one in the ring on your own. You've got your corner, but they're not physically doing it. So it is important to push yourself, and that's where I have gone wrong before. And you know, I've had fight camps, and I've had a day off. That's why you're out of breath today, because you've had your day off, and it kind of gets stuck in your head. But now this is kind of why I've moved up to Leeds, because I am always surrounded by a good team. If Richard's not here, then like someone else is taking me on the pads, or even just coming in the gym. It's open all day with different people doing PTs, so it's still a buzz when you come in here. I feel like because I've been taken away from everything in Cornwall, which was dragging me down, I wasn't hanging out with the right people. It's easy to just go out and, there's nothing else going on. So it's easy to lead a whole different life. No one in Cornwall really ever asked about my fighting, never really watched my fights. I would win a big fight and I would go back to Cornwall and everyone's just like, oh yeah, come out. They're not like, wow, you've put 8 weeks in dedication. No one speaks to you during the journey. It's for celebration after, so they don't really care, and that's the people you need to part ways with because they're not your friends. It's a hard sport in that way. You can really tell when someone's behind you and they're pushing you and they're saying, right, stay in the gym. No one understands how much sacrifice it is, and missing out one day of training could be, that training session, you could have learnt something in your fight that you could win by. So there was a big thing in my head growing up, which I had, everyone was saying, oh, it's Julie's daughter, or it's Alea's sister, or, I've always had that name, but not my own. So when people say Amber Kitchen, now, to me, it is my own journey. I'm grateful for every, step that I've had through my family, but now my name is just me, and that means a lot to me. It's my journey. I'm the one who's sacrificing. I'm the one in the gym every day. So I just want to be known for me and not, my family around me. Do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else. Don't live your life for anyone else. You're never going to get 100% out of what you're doing unless you really want it. And to go in, half-hearted, you're just putting yourself through pain when it's unnecessary. I mean, do something you love, but just know if you love something, you're going to hate it as well, because you're going to have to grind through the times when you really don't want to do it. And, but everyone has days where they don't want to get up and they don't want to train. I have days like that all the time, but the best sessions are the ones you really didn't want to do and you dragged yourself out of bed and you've got it done. Even if you haven't been 100% in it, you've still got up, you've got through the gym, and you haven't wasted a session, you've tried. So. Main goal is to get for one world title, be my dream come true.